Hello, hi, welcome to my channel. I am sorry if the lighting is strange. I have to film at night. Was I expecting to? No, I was not. But here we are, so please bear with me. Anyways, hi, hello, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Wendy Ivy Martinez. I am a geek, and today we're going to be talking about pretty much every single book series that I have started, and today I'm going to decide if I am actually going to really read the series or if I am going to finally just give up. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I have had Goodreads for quite a long time. I have had Goodreads since 2011, so it's been, what, 13 years now I've had Goodreads? From 2011 till now, we're going to be talking about all the book series that I have started, and I'm going to finally decide if I'm going to actually read the series or if I am going to give it up. So let's do that. This is every series that I have ever read, okay? From 2011 up until 2023. This is every series, actually 2024, because a few of these I actually just read this year. Let's start from 2011. Let's do a throwback. Let's start with the series that I actually started back in 2011 and see if I'm going to finish those. So the first series that I read in 2011 was Halo. It was a Halo series, and this is about like an angel that falls in love with like a human. I honestly don't read YA. As you can see, I used to read a lot of YA. I don't anymore. So I'm actually going to put this under no. I'm not going to be continuing this series just because I am going to read some of this. I am going to read some YA, but I don't know. Marked. This is the House of Night series. I got up until the 9th one, and then I didn't read them, and there's only like a few more left in the series. I actually really like this series. It follows like a vampire sort of academy, but it was better than Vampire Academy to me. I actually really enjoyed it. Am I going to continue the series? I'm going to be honest, and I'm probably going to say no. I have other books that are a priority, and this series just isn't it. I have other series that are definitely a priority, and again, it might just be because it's a YA, but if I do like a whole video where like I read old books that I used to read as a teenager, I might just have to go back and finish that one. Next we have Abandoned by Meg Cabot. This is a YA retelling of the Persephone and Hades myth, and I used to read a lot of Meg Cabot. Like, she was my favorite author. I wanted to read every single book that she's ever written, and I read a lot, okay? I've read probably over like 30 books that she wrote. Oh shoot, that disappeared. But this one I actually didn't like. I didn't like her take on the Persephone and Hades myth at all. So I'm gonna say no, because I didn't like it. Not only is it YA, I just didn't like it. I didn't even like it back then, so I'm for sure not gonna like it now. Next we have Hex Hall. I remember liking, I think this has to do with like a witch or witch academy. Liked it at the time. I don't think it's gonna be something that I enjoy now. So I'm going to put it in no, because I don't know. It's not calling out to me. Next we finally have a actual adult book that I read back in 2012. We're in 2012 now. 50 Shades of Grey. I actually didn't like it. I didn't like the whole male dominant thing. I don't know. I like it more when like I like feminist takes on, you know, books and stuff, and that didn't have that. Next we have Anna Dressed in Blood. I didn't read the second book to this series, and I actually just rebought these books, so I'm actually going to read this. I'm reading Anna Dressed in Blood to my kids now. Don't question me. Okay, my kids are a little older. They're not tiny, so they actually enjoy this story. And I'm going to read Girl of Nightmares, which is the second book. So that is my first yes. Yay! Now we're going into 2013. Next, so we have, in 2013, we have Everneath, which is by Rhodey Ashton, and this is another Persephone and Hades retelling. I didn't like this one either. I wasn't a big fan back then, so I already know now I'm still not going to be a big fan. So I'm going to put it under no as well. Next we have Fairest of All, which is one of those Disney villain origin stories. I read this one, and I just recently read the Hades one, and I hated them. I hated both of them. I didn't even like this one at the time. I just thought the Hades one was going to be a little bit better, and it wasn't. So this is a no. I don't think I'm going to continue with this series at all, just because this author has already let me down 2 times too many. Going into 2013, I read Vampire Academy. I didn't like this series as much as I enjoyed The House of Night. I enjoyed The House of Night a lot more, so I actually continued The House of Night. Where did the book go? Oh my god, it just disappeared. Yeah, so I actually decided to continue The House of Night instead of Vampire Academy, and do I regret it? No, not at all. Not at all. I really like the House of Night series, so that's going to be going there. All right, so next book, we're going into 2014 now. In 2014, I had my second child, and I was in the hospital reading this book, Unwild by Neil Shusterman. This book is like a sci-fi dystopian story, and it was really good. And I actually, even though this was YA, it was so twisted and dark, and I was reading it while I was in the hospital, that I actually really do want to finish the series. I want to continue it, and I want to read the whole thing, because I really did enjoy the first one. So that is a yes. That's a yes. I'm reading that one. Next, we have The Merciless, which is like a YA horror series. It's kind of like The Heathers, I guess, but like Bunny. It reminded me of Bunny, actually. It reminded me of Bunny, but like throw in an exorcism in there. And I don't know. I didn't like it back then, so I don't think I'm gonna like it now. So that's gonna go under no. We're not continuing that series. We're not. That's a no. That's a no. Moving on to 2015, we have The School for Good and Evil. I don't think we're going to continue this. I asked my daughter read the first one, and I asked her if she wanted to continue reading the series, and we could read it together, and I actually rebought the book, and she doesn't want to. So that's a no. That's a no. She's not reading it. I'm not reading it, because it's not my cup of tea. Next we have Illuminae. By Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This was my first Jay Kristoff and my only Jay Kristoff, and because of that, I avoid Jay Kristoff because I hated this book. So I'm definitely not going to be continuing with it because I hated it back then. I don't think it's going to be any better. The Young Elites, I read the first 2 books. I didn't read the last one, and I actually do want to read this. I'm actually reading it this year, like rereading them. So I'm actually going to put this in yes, because this is like a fantasy villain origin story, and this was my first ever fantasy villain. This is my first ever villain origin story, and I really liked it. Okay, I really liked it a lot. Next we have Cinder by Marissa Mayer. This was okay. I think this was a 3-star for me. I still remember certain parts of it even after 10 years. Next we have Obsidian, which is a part of the Lux series. I believe I read the first 2 books to this series, and I think there was like 5. I really liked it. This is by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is my like first Jennifer L. Armentrout series. It's a YA. I really did love the series. It was my first enemies to lovers book that I ever read, and I loved it. This made me like realize how much I love the enemies to lovers trope. So Jennifer L. Armentrout is the one that started that. So I'm actually not going to continue this series. However, I do want to read her adult series. Yeah. So, also, so you know, we're into 2016 now. Next we have Saga, which is a graphic novel, like sci-fi graphic novel series. I loved this series. This is a yes. Like, I have the new volume, have not touched it. And there's been a lot more volumes ever since 2016, because obviously that was years ago. So I do want to continue that series. Next we have Rat Queens, which follows like these female not superheroes, but like fantasy D&D sort of heroes. I really liked this as well. I do want to continue this one if they have more. I'm not sure if they actually do though. So if they do have more to this series, this is an adult graphic novel as well, so I did enjoy that one a lot. Next we have now we're in 2017, you guys. In 2017 I read A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I just got her adult sort of series to that, which is The Fragile Threads of Power, but I heard you can better understand it if you read the Darker Shade of Magic series. So I actually do want to read this, and I was actually listening to the audiobook. However, I didn't like the narrator so much. So I'm going to actually put this in yes. Yes, we're continuing A Darker Shade of Magic. That's a yes. That's a yes, you guys. Yes. We got a rare one. Next we got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I read 4 books in the series and I didn't read the rest. And I actually do want to read them because even though they're middle grade, I still really liked them. I don't know if it's some nostalgia. I know J.K. Rowling is like a controversial person and I'm not supporting any additional, you know, things from her. I haven't bought anything else from her. However, I do already have the series and I am a fan of like the actual series itself, not so much the author, but the series, yes. So I actually do want to reread Harry Potter. And next in 2017, I read the first book in the Dark Fever series. This was my very first like adult fantasy romance. And it was okay. It made me think that I didn't like fantasy romance. So for that, I'm going to say no. Because I wasn't a fan. Next we have Miss Marvel. I don't even remember reading this in 2018. Oh, we're in 2018. In 2018, I don't even remember reading this. So I'm going to put it under no. Next we have White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is another one of her series. A enemies to lovers fantasy romance. And I actually really liked this one. However, it's YA and I'm going to focus on Jennifer L. Armentrout's adult series now because I don't read YA anymore, so I'm not going to be continuing this series. However, I do want to actually get started with her adult series. Next we have The Wicked and the Divine. I don't even remember what this was about. I think it had to do with like the devil or something. I don't even remember it that much, so I'm going to put it under a no because it's a no. I don't remember it. So I'm putting it under no. Next we're going into 2020. I read Paper Girls. I remember I wasn't a huge fan of this, so I'm gonna put it under no because this one I don't know. I love graphic novels, but this one I don't know, it just kind of flopped for me. Witchblood. This is like the same artist as I forgot what this artist was, but I wanted to read it because it's like the same artist for something else that I was into, and I don't remember it. I don't think I was a huge fan of it, so that's a no. We're not continuing with that. Lore Olympus. I read it on Webtoon. Am I caught up? Every time I catch up, they like come out with like 10,000 more episodes, and so I'm not caught up. But however, I do really love this graphic novel series. It follows another Persephone and Hades retelling, as you can see. I very much love Hades and Persephone. I really loved it. Now we're finally getting into when I actually started to read a lot. 2022. I read the Percy Jackson series, The Lightning Thief. I read the first 3 or 4, I believe, and I don't know. I like I said, middle grade isn't really my thing. However, I did want to give it a try because it's Greek mythology, and I really like Greek mythology. But I don't think I'm going to be continuing it, so that's going under no. Next, we have Guild by Raven Kennedy. I actually really hated this one when I read it. However, I heard that the character becomes stronger and stronger as each book goes. So I do actually want to give this one a second chance, and I'm actually planning on filming a whole reading vlog where I read this series. So this one's actually going in the yes pile. We're continuing this series. Yay. Hello, lucky you. You have been chosen. Next we have Poison Ivy's Thorns. I don't really remember this one. I don't think I'm going to continue this one, honestly. It doesn't stand out to me. Yeah, I remember reading it. I don't remember anything about what it's about. Next we have Life is Strange, which is another graphic novel where we follow the characters from the first Life is Strange, Chloe and Max, and their relationship, and has a lot of like time loops, parallel universes, and things like that, and that's just my jam. Plus we have this like sapphic romance with these two characters that I just love. Like, I was in love with Chloe, okay, back when I played the game. I didn't even play the game in 2022. I played this game years ago. I played the first game years ago. And so I loved seeing the continuation of their love story and just their story in general. So I'm actually going to put this in yes, because I actually do have the last volume to that book on my bookshelf. I just haven't picked it up yet. Next we have Solo Leveling. My daughter loves this book so much. It's this graphic novel series about like this guy that gets like thrown into like a sort of like a video game sort of thing. And it was good. I'm actually going to say yes because, like I said, my daughter owns all of them because she loves them so much, and it'd be nice to like be able to read them and like connect with books with her. Next we have Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I loved this book so much. Another Persephone Hades retelling that's not really fantasy. It's like a dark romance. I really like what they did with it. I really liked what Katie Robert did with this. It was very unique. And I enjoyed it, and I actually do want to continue. I have the second book. It's just, I've been putting it off for 2 years now for I don't know what reason. Next we have Heartstopper. I read the first 3 volumes, and I have 5 of them now. Because again, my oldest daughter reads this, and I love this. I love the series. Like, it's like my comfort series. I effing love that series. So I actually do want to read this. This is going in the yes pile. I'm probably going to be reading it during like the cozy fall months. Yeah, of this year. Next we have Sheets, which is like about a ghost that's like in this laundromat. I have the second book to that one called Delicates. I just haven't read it yet. So this is going in the yes because I have the second book already. I just haven't picked it, and I liked the first one, and it's a graphic novel, so it's not something that's too time consuming. I just haven't picked it up yet. Next we have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I read A Touch of Darkness, A Touch of Ruin, and the third one, A Touch of Malice. I haven't read the fourth one. I haven't read Hades' spin-off on it, but I did like the first 2 books, and then Persephone got pretty annoying. But I do want to continue the series just because I love my Persephone Hades retellings, and I like it. Okay, I like it. Overall, I still really like the story. And then last we have The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. I remember not liking this, so this is no. Next we're jumping into 2023. First book we got here is Fourth Wing. I mean, really? Like, this is like a no-brainer. Of course, this is the top of my list. As soon as Rebecca Yarros drops the next book, I'm going to drop everything to pick it up right away. It doesn't matter if I'm in the middle of another really good book. That comes first. That's my priority. That's my holy Bible, okay? Next we have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and this doesn't have a sequel, but it does have a prequel. That's why I included it on here, and I actually do really want to read that this year, so I'm going to put it in my yes pile. It's gonna go in my yes pile. Next we have Hooked, the Hooked series, not the Hooked series, the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. I wasn't a huge fan of Hooked, so I'm probably not going to be continuing with this series. This is going in the no. I don't know. I think it's the non-con. It wasn't as bad as Haunting Adeline, but it wasn't great. I don't know. Next we have That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I really love this series. This has like the best MC ever. I have the second book already, and they came out with the third one. So I'm going to say yes. They're really quick reads. Next we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a YA about like the demons, wrath, whatever, the sin demons. It was okay. I don't I don't plan on continuing this. I wanted to finish it so that I could read like Throne of the Fallen, which is Carrie Miscalco's adult version of this series. But I don't want to hang in there for all the other books because I wasn't a huge fan. So next we have The Cursed Princess Club by Lamcat. I did like this book. It was so cute. It's about these like princesses, and one princess is not like your typical average beauty. It was so cute. Okay, things we never got over. I actually do want to continue this series. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about the second one, because the second one's about like the Nash's brother or whatever, like the side character, the main guy's brother. But the third one is about two characters that I actually really enjoyed from the first novel, so I do want to get to that one. So I'm going to put it under yes, but I'm probably going to listen to the second one on audio and probably physically read the third one because, yeah. Next we have Court of Blood and Blindings by Lisette Marshall. This was one of my worst books of the year for 2023. So needless to say, I'm not going to be continuing that. And I almost bought the whole series. I'm so glad I didn't. Next we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This was on one of my best books of 2023, and I actually already pre-ordered the next book and it's already on its way to me. So needless to say, that's a yes. I'm continuing this series. Of course I am. Of course. Next we have Haunting Adeline. Non-con. No. No. That's a no. I hated this book. I'm surprised I didn't put it under my worst books of 2023, actually. Next we have Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I have the second book, but I want to read the novella before I read the second book. So needless to say, obviously, I enjoyed the first book. I didn't like the ending. And I've heard mixed reviews about the second one, but I do want to read it. I do want to continue it. Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm actually doing a whole reading vlog of this because I read the first one multiple times, but I have not read the rest of the series. So I want to do a reading vlog where I read it with you guys because this is such an iconic series and I did really enjoy the first one. So we're actually going to be reading this one together in a reading vlog, you guys. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be coming up either in February or March. Next we have The Three-Body Problem, it's one of my most recent reads of January, and that's a yes. Like, I don't want to get too into it because I have a whole, this is coming out in a reading vlog, but I love this book so much. It's like a sci-fi. There's so much that goes on in this book. Like, that's a definite yes. Next we have Throne of Glass. I've read every single book in this series except for the last one, but I haven't physically read them. I've only done the audiobook. And I want to read this. I'm probably going to do a reading vlog where I actually physically read them for the first time and then finally read the last one. So that's a yes, a definite yes. Next is Devil's Line. I don't really remember this book too much. It's a manga. So I'm actually going to put it in no. I have too many other series that I want to continue that I don't know. That I just don't think I'm going to be able to, I'm not going to get into that one. Next we have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This was like okay. It's another YA, so I'm going to put it in no. Next we have I'll Never Be Your Crown Princess. This is about this like woman that ends up tied to this. She tries losing her so she doesn't have to marry this prince who's like known to cheat on his wife. But she ends up sleeping with the prince anyways. The guy that she gives up her to turns out to be the prince anyways. And she has no choice but to marry him. And she's like forced into this marriage. And I'm very curious as to what happens next. So I'm actually going to put this in yes as well. So yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh. That's it, you guys. I have quite a lot of books that I have finally decided to, it's never going to happen. And I'm happy, you know, I'm happy. I feel like I'm not hoarding books. I'm not hoarding my TBR. And I have a lot of books that I don't want to give up on. That I have either have the last book, it's a completed series. or that I really do enjoy and I want to continue. So anyways, that is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. I promise my lighting is usually a lot better than this, and I apologize for making this video so at such a late time. It's usually like midday when I'm filming. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit the I have my Booktok down below, my Goodreads, as well as my Amazon book wish list down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!